So when I was putting this talk together, I was thinking to myself, weight loss for a lifetime. I was thinking, what are the traits that I've learned from my patients that you need to be successful with weight loss? And I thought to myself, I don't want to have a big, long laundry list of traits that you need to have to lose weight and keep it off, but let's just narrow it down to 3 things. And so this talk is not going to just be on surgery, so we're going to talk about real life changes and traits that you'll need to keep your weight off. And I think all the patients here today can attest to these 3 traits as well. So the 3 traits that I thought of when I was putting this talk together that you need to lose weight and keep it off is motivation. If you don't have motivation, if you don't have something that drives you to lose weight, something either, my gosh, my legs are hurting, my feet are hurting, I can't do what I want to do, then you won't have that certain something, that certain fire inside of you to lose weight and to keep it off. The other thing is discipline. Just like if you were running a marathon, you need discipline. You need the ability to make yourself do the right things and to exercise and to live a healthy lifestyle. The third thing is responsibility. So just like everybody says, if you want to do something, you have to take the responsibility of doing that thing. So you can't have, your sister, your neighbor down the block tell you you have to do this, either smoking, quitting alcohol, whatever it is. It has to come within, and you have to be responsible for that. So motivation, where can we get this motivation? Just like this showing here, exercise. Exercise is the most difficult thing to get yourself to do. Even for me, it's really hard. And actually over the past few months, I've been exercising a lot more than I've done before. And I can tell you, working long nights, working during the day in the operating room, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you get home late at night, it's really hard to motivate yourself. But if you think of something in your mind that you want to achieve, you can get there. And so motivating yourself to doing some exercise on a daily routine, doing, the one thing for exercise that people who have lost over 100 pounds of weight all have in common through a large database is at least 2.5 hours of exercise a week. So if you can commit to 2.5 hours a week, you can maintain your weight loss. So that's one thing to kind of think about as we were talking about strategies for lifetime success. The next thing is discipline. Even if you're an Olympic swimmer, if you're a pianist, an accomplished pianist, you need to have discipline. So doing things the same time every day, getting into a routine, an exercise routine will help you maintain your weight loss goals. And again, like I had mentioned, responsibility. Just like this dog, it wouldn't be great if you had pets that can clean up their own mess. You wouldn't have to bring a bag with you. So, I have patients who come and see me for both medical weight loss and surgical weight loss. And they oftentimes use me as somebody for accountability, to come and follow up with me and, Dr. Basa is not going to like that I gained 5 pounds or something like that, and use me as that person to give them accountability. But really, and everybody will be here. I'm not there at 10 o'clock at night when you want to have that cookie. You're the one who's there. And so being responsible for your own actions and having some check in your mind will help you maintain your weight loss. So getting down to surgery, there's going to have to be some surgery in this. When is it time to consider having bariatric surgery? We might have patients here who are thinking about it or people who are thinking about it. When is the right time? Well, a lot of my patients say frustration with yo-yo dieting. When you get to that point where you lose the 50 pounds, you gain the 60, you lose the 40, you gain 100, it kind of goes up and down and you seem to be going on this high trend that seems to be going straight up. That's when you you should think about it. And I think a lot of the patients here, and even in their testimonials, will say, you know, the surgery provided them with that tool to help them to keep their weight off. Just doing it with dieting alone could not help them keep it for a lifetime. There are some guidelines, and if you want insurance to be able to approve it, being approximately 100 pounds overweight, over ideal body weight. And you can find these in different tables, but basically if you want to look at it, it's body mass index over 35, and that's calculated by your height and weight, with a medical problem, or a body mass index over 40, and you don't have to have another medical problem along with that. And the health problems, you know, just as Jane is going to talk about, diabetes is one of the things that can come along with obesity. Diabetes, high blood pressure, problems with sleeping at night, sleep apnea. If you have that motivation, and I had mentioned it earlier, if you have some sort of motivating factor, it could be either a health problem or being there for your kids when they grow older and have kids. Some sort of motivation will help you through the whole process. If you have that one thing to think about as you're going through the journey, that will keep you on track. Coming to the realization that you need a tool to help you keep the weight off instead of this yo-yo dieting. Also, wanting the ability to live again. A lot of my patients say they feel like they're reborn, like they're a new person. And you'll hear a lot of this in the testimonials that we'll talk about later on. This is, you know, I have to have a little schematic here on the gastric bypass. Actually, when I was doing my research that Laura was mentioning, I tried to do this surgery actually in rats. So that was my goal, was to come up with the Roux-wide gastric bypass in rats using a microscope. And unfortunately, my first couple of patients did not do too well. We didn't have an intensive care unit for rats, so I was kind of stuck. So instead, I actually investigated the hormone ghrelin and tried to find different things that can actually lower it. And ghrelin is a hormone that actually makes you hungry. And so I was coming up with trying to use different types of, you know, chemicals and things to try and bring that ghrelin level down during my research. So this right here is the schematic of a Roux-wide gastric bypass, and it's basically creating a small stomach pouch. It's about the size of an egg, and then basically rerouting the intestines, dividing it further down, and bringing it up. So you're basically having an element where you're not able to absorb all the nutrients, and also having restriction by having a small stomach pouch. And really bypassing this area here, right here called the duodenum, we've noticed that this actually helps to reverse diabetes. And actually in our patients, we've noticed their blood sugars really start to normalize pretty much the first week after surgery, just by bypassing this area. And this is something that is unique, particularly just to the gastric bypass, and you don't see that actually with a lot of the other types of bariatric weight loss surgeries. This is another procedure that we perform, and all of this is performed laparoscopically with small, tiny incisions. We also use the robot, the Da Vinci robot at Cedar Park Regional, to also accomplish performing these surgeries as well. So the sleeve gastrectomy is just basically removing a large portion of the stomach, and so we leave you with a smaller stomach pouch here. It's a little bit larger than the gastric bypass. It's about the size of 2 eggs as opposed to just 1 small egg. And it provides restriction and also decreases that hormone ghrelin, because that ghrelin is actually produced in this area of the stomach. So this also helps to curb one's appetite as well, just as the gastric bypass does as well. So the main thing to remember is that surgery is a tool. It actually can take away a lot of your hunger. So imagine going on a diet without feeling hunger, and not having that gnawing feeling in your stomach when you haven't eaten for a while. So that's what the surgery actually can help you with, is actually take away that burning hunger. It also can change some of your taste cravings. So I have patients who actually say, you know, I used to like eating XYZ, like cake or donuts or whatnot, but now I can't even think of eating it. or the smells of certain foods kind of change that I was surprised. I had a patient who I saw a few weeks after surgery, and he said that he saw commercials of cheeseburgers and things like that after surgery, and he looked at it and he's like, who would eat this stuff? And his wife said, what? Like a month ago you would say we need to go out and get that cheeseburger. So it's really interesting how it just changes the way you think about food. It also helps to create the ideas of food as fuel. Basically, you have to remind yourself to eat almost sometimes, that you don't have this gnawing hunger, and also you don't have some of the problems with eating certain types of foods that you would have in the past. It is a tool, but it still takes hard work for long-term success. And so as we have these patients here going down the runway and everything, they've all put in a lot of work. I think that's one misconception that people think about bariatric surgery. Once I have the surgery, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. No big deal. It's very, very difficult. You have to make sure you eat the right things and exercise. It's a tool, and it's really only about 50–60% of your success. The rest is up to you, really. Here at Cedar Park Regional, we have a great support system, and I'm going to just introduce in a second all the components of our bariatric team that really helps people to succeed. This is our group, and so when you think you're alone and you want to lose the weight, you have all these people around you that are there to support you, and especially in the bariatric program as well. We have the bariatric surgeons. We have Laylee, who is here. Why don't you come up here, Laylee? Bariatric coordinator. We have dietitians. This is Karen and Jareen. We have Danny, who's a physical therapist who teaches exercise. And we have Laverne, who's our support group leader. And Laverne, has been a godsend actually to us. We actually ran into her in a Cedar Park walk. I think it was probably about 3.5 years ago. And Laverne had gastric bypass surgery 26 years ago and has been successful. So all of these components are here to help you to lose weight and to help you succeed for a lifetime.